Welcome back to Applied Economics class. So we are still dealing with interpretation of level model. So we are on case 3 where the independent variable is expressed in percentage, but the dependent variable is not. Okay. So let's say we have a this bivariate linear regression model. This is population regression model, and let's say this particular model, estimated regression model, this model has been estimated. So how do we interpret this estimated model? Okay, so given this case, this condition that the independent variable x is expressed in percentage, but the dependent variable y is not. So how do we interpret this coefficient, which is beta 1 hat? So general interpretation. We'll be starting with general interpretation. Interpretation. So the general interpretation is that uh, beta 1 hat implies that on average, because the independent variable is expressed in percentage term, so it's going to be on average 1 percentage point, or if you like, a 1 percentage point change in x is associated with beta 1 hat unit change in y. So what do you mean by unit change in y? That is the unit of measurement of y. Okay, if y is in dollar, it's going to be beta 1 hat dollar change. If it is expressed in kilogram, it's going to be beta y kilogram, beta high hat kilogram change in y. So depending on the unit of measurement. Okay, what is certain is that it's going to be a 1 percentage point change in x1. Why is it so? Because x, which is the independent variable, is expressed in percentage term. It enters the estimated equation in percentage. Okay, that is why it's going to be interpreted that way. So let's look at the, the direction of the interpretation, especially if we already know that is if our beta, assuming our beta 1 hat is greater than 0, that if it is positive, how do we interpret? So if it is positive, so the interpretation is going to be that y is positively related. Y is positively related. So when we are interpreting, the focus will be on the population regression. Okay, so y is positively related to xi. Okay, so in other words, on average, 1 percentage point increase in xi is associated with beta 1 hat unit increase in y, and vice versa. And vice versa. So vice versa implies that we could interpret it in an alternative way to mean on average 1 percentage point decrease, instead of saying increase, decrease in x is associated with beta 1 at unit decrease in y. Okay, that is what the interpretation implies when we say vice versa. Okay, let's also look at the case where we have our beta 1 hat is less than 0. That's where it is negative. How do we interpret that? So the interpretation is going to be y is related negatively related to x. Okay, meaning that on average 1% on average 1 percentage point increase in x is associated with beta 1 at unit decrease, because for beta 1 less than 0, so y is going to change toward the opposite direction of the change in x, so decrease in y. Okay, and vice versa, so vice versa here implies that it could also be interpreted as on average 1 percentage point decrease in x is associated with beta 1 at unit increase in y.